Gentlewoman from Alexandria, Ms. Herring.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise for a point of personal privilege.
Gentlewoman has the floor.
Thank you. Mr. Speaker and my dear colleagues, all session I have paid careful attention to the debate back and forth about closing the coverage gap with Medicaid. I was hopeful when session started that we would come to a resolution much like we did with transportation last year. I was heartened that the Chamber of Commerce was vocal on the issue and expressing the need to bring our Virginia taxpayers' money back home. I realize that some on the other side of the aisle are opposed to Medicaid expansion, the Affordable Health Care Act, and our president. But I could not imagine that we would fall so far as to use our words on this floor to provide Monday morning handicap of elections, chastise the members on my side of the aisle for sharing stories of working Virginians who cannot afford health care, and make personal attacks on the character of our governor for reaching out to members, discussing the issues after our day, and for traveling the state listening to Virginians in our districts who are in the need of health care coverage. Yes, sometimes he is out there while we are here governing, but you know what? He is governing too. I know it's easier for us to have an armchair approach to governing, to know that we have the comfort of health insurance under the state plan, which, by the way, is very good, and not want to hear about the Virginians who are going without. Mr. Speaker, it's with great trepidation that I share this with you and the members of this chamber. After all, as politicians, we like to have some privacy in our lives, but sometimes we go through an experience for a reason, and it is incumbent upon us to stand up and share. Early in my career, I had no health care coverage for a period of time. Although I was practicing law, I could not afford a plan. I developed a disease that I could not treat. The emergency room was not an answer, and the condition continued to develop. I had to have a surgery, and thankfully, I had the resources to use a credit card to pay for it. After the surgery, I was informed without health care coverage, I could not have the second one unless an emergent condition existed, like a high fever, high blood pressure, and basically be seriously ill. Surgeons will tell you that the risks of a stroke going into surgery in that condition is far higher and more costly. When I was elected to the General Assembly and health care coverage was offered to me, I was thankful because the coverage was so good. I think of my own story, and I'm often reminded of other Virginians who are not so fortunate to have health care coverage. Now, I know the other side of the aisle likes to think that the stories that we share over here and that the governor shares from their district are sometimes isolated. They are not. The pain that hardworking Virginians are feeling and experience is real. It is easy not to listen and perhaps ignore them, but we need to listen. These Virginians are trying to care for their family while they are sick. This is real, and not wanting to hear about these Virginians will not make them go away or the issue go away. So while we debate the minutiae on this floor and point fingers at each other, I hope we can remind ourselves that there are real people behind the number we choose to pay attention to, whether it be 400,000, 300,000, 200,000 Virginians who can be helped. I often think how we must sound to be seated in these seats in this hallowed hall, to get health care, pointing fingers and discussing whether the health care plan for working Virginians is in the budget or outside the budget, whether we can go home on time or not, or whether our governor should talk to Virginians or not, when Virginians are working, playing by the rules, and cannot afford to care for themselves like we can. Now, I don't have the seat at the table and likely will never be a budget conferee. I have respect for those who have the awesome responsibility at the table. It is in their hands. That is why I implore them to think about the consequences of their actions and decisions to dig the heels in day after day. Marketplace Virginia is a compromise plan, and it was presented in the budget from the body down the hall. We have Virginians in need. They are not our strangers. They are our constituents in Northern Virginia, Western Virginia, the Eastern Shore, and South Side. We still have time, and I implore the members of this chamber, and especially the conferees, to think about them as they proceed. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.